In late 2011 in Gary, Indiana, a series of incidents unfold that would rattle modern America for decades to come. That year, a mother named Latoya Ammons, her mother Rosa Campbell, and her 3 children aged 7, 9, and 12 moved into a rental house in the area. However, right from the very beginning, the house seems to have a mind of its own. Among the many fear factors it presents, the house was infested by a large population of black flies covering most of their porch and entrance into the facility. While the family did their best efforts in removing them, they remained unsuccessful. The family heard footsteps climbing the basement stairs and the creak of the door between the basement and the kitchen opening, but no one was there. One night, unexplained movements were heard from their living room, leaving huge boot prints, which shows during later investigation. As you can imagine, at this point, the poor family was suppressed into deep paranoia. Soon after, their insecurities were confirmed after they witnessed their 12-year-old levitating a few foot above her bed one night unconscious. According to her own account, Ammons and her family constantly felt demonic influences, and her 3 children continues to display unhealthy symptoms, including bulging eyes, unnaturally deepened voice, and evil smiles. At another point, their 7-year-old would strangle his older brother by the throat and refused to release until his hands were pried away, while both boys were then excused to speaking in demonic voices. Their 9-year-old sibling were reportedly walking backward up a wall to the ceiling in the presence of an Indiana Department of Child Services family case manager and a nurse. No medical explanations yet were found. So, a priest by the name of Reverend Michael Maginot was summoned. During his attendance, Latoya confessed to feeling weak, lightheaded, and out of control while being possessed. However, according to their doctor, no medical abnormalities were found, and Latoya's psychiatrist determined that she was of sound mind. Then terms such as hallucinations and delusions of ghosts started circling around their case in a public attempt to describe their symptoms. None of them fully make sense. However, while the house itself has symptoms, real psychological damage has just begun, for Maginot's exorcism was not a straightforward one. Maginot's first instruction was to apply oil on Latoya's children's head and foot as well as the surfaces of all entry points in the house as a countermeasure. Then, the house would be cleansed with ammonia and bleach, burning sage, and by reciting the 91st Psalm. Upon this treatment, the hauntings halted for 3 days consecutively, but on the 4th, they returned, for Mrs. Campbell reported seeing her 7-year-old grandson speaking as if to himself in an abandoned corner of the house. According to a local clairvoyant they consulted afterwards, they should leave immediately because 200 demons were sensed inside, but that was out of budget. The family did not made it out. Father Maginot's first encounter was with a seemingly flickering light that dims itself upon his approach. Unmistakably, this event was verifiable, since he repeated his acts several more times with the same results. Then a breeze would blow the curtains away even though no wind was present. These were then confirmed by the sight of a wet footprint on the carpet, even though nobody present then had wet theirs. So both Latoya and Campbell were forcefully sent away temporarily to a relative house. But a still skeptical Campbell returned a week later with 3 police officers, who further confirmed Maginot's suspicion. In reference to their experience, while recording their visit, Ton Cam loses power immediately despite having been recharged some moment earlier. When it was eventually powered back on, the recorder captured an unexpected audio whispering, "Hey," and several unidentified shadow figures were captured. This was their last visit. Upon Maginot's re-entry, they had been replaced with several others assigned to the case. During further investigation, one caseworker went downstairs into the basement alone and discovered something strange in liquid form that she touched with fingers. In her own opinion, several hours later, it went numb and painful sensations could be felt. She too abandoned the case. While investigating one bedroom in the house, Maginot discovered a darkened window covered in a layer of film. Naturally, he cleaned them to allow light in the room before sealing them off. But later on, when the bedroom was reopened, the film returned, causing the room to be covered in darkness once more. So he and several other caseworkers went downstairs into the basement looking for any hidden elements on the ground like demonic marks or summoning boards. When one hole was dug, a few suspicious items were unearthed, including a pink press-on fingernail, a white pair of panties, a political shirt pin, a lid for a small cooking pan, socks with the bottoms cut off below the ankles, candy wrappers, and a heavy metal object that looked like a weight for a drapery cord. All of these prefaces convinced Maginot to start the exorcism ritual immediately. Among those present were several other caseworkers and Latoya herself. Most of them reported experiencing malicious side effects afterwards. Latoya herself was struggling and her reactions remained negative. After the ritual, Father Maginot told Latoya to look up the names of the demons who were tormenting her. He told her that there was power in those names. This process wasn't smooth either, for the harassment persists. But after Bishop Melchick backed Maginot to proceed further, he attempted 2 more times. After hours and hours of loud incantations, Latoya felt the same pain she once felt during pregnancy and, as a result, decided to put a temporary distance from that place. Fortunately, the 3rd exorcism was so long afterwards and was eventually performed in Latin. This was agonizingly successful. So a piece of paper was prepared and a very long name was written on it to be sealed and salted as insurance just in case Latoya relapsed. Should that happen, the document would be burned. That night, Latoya saw nightmares, and the document was no more so were her demons. When Zach Baggins later purchased the house for $35,000 USD, he expected to unload out a documentary out of it. During this process, he and his crew witnessed their own version of paranormal activity. Even though he was unable to set an appointment with Latoya for an interview, what he saw only mirrors her own accounts. Unfortunately for him, by the end of his show Demon Houses, he had partial sight loss, mainly double vision, and believed that supernatural influence is involved. So from that point, he had to apply correctional medical treatment for his eye. Zach took this incident as a sign and demolished the house afterwards, leaving only the stairs leading to the basement as a souvenir from the past. However, with public reception of this case, this scenario remains a haunt that lives to this day and, from a general perspective, remains an inexplicable phenomena to be puzzled over for a long time to come. While the events that unfolded then remains a blurry sketch of the past, it has also redefined the public's perspective on what they perceive as supernatural, either scientifically or speculatively. Evidence of supernatural involvements have surrounded Indianapolis ever since, and have been reproduced in various art forms presented both textually and graphically as a sign that beyond our world, something else awaits.
you.